Well, hello again. We're going to learn about Marc and his lazy day. In fact, that's the title of this chapter. I seem to learn something new all the time when Uncle Jake is here. Today I learned a very important lesson. It all started on Friday. I woke up early, worked out with Uncle Jake, went to camp until lunch, came home, did chores for my mom, went to the academy, trained super hard in jiu-jitsu, got home, worked on my bike, ate dinner, then went to bed. I was exhausted, and as soon as I lay down in bed, I fell asleep immediately. Almost as soon as my head hit the pillow, my alarm was going off and it was time to get up and do it again. I know most kids relax on Saturdays, but in case you haven't noticed, warrior kids don't get much time to relax. So I got up, did burpees forever with Uncle Jake, and then got to work. It was time to pull weeds and mow lawns, and I did it all weekend long. I also got another lovely and enjoyable new job. Last week I asked Mr. Latham down the street if there was anything he needed from me. The thing is, Mr. Latham doesn't have any real yard. Well, he has a yard, but in his yard nothing grows. Nothing grows. His whole yard is concrete and pavement. That's what I wanted to do. Mrs. Morton said no. There was no grass and no flowers and no trees, not even any weeds to pull. Not a thing. But since I'm a motivated young business owner, I figured that I would see if there was anything he needed. Last weekend he said no, I should never have gone back, but I did. I went by his house again on Saturday morning and asked if there was anything I could do to help him. He immediately said, "Yes, there is. Come on over here, boy." He led me through his house and out the back door. His backyard was the same as the front yard, all concrete and pavement, and there was a giant concrete slab which had been dyed a reddish sort of color. It all actually looked pretty nice except for one thing. There was a big, dirty, whitish-gray stain going diagonally across the entire patio. "You see that over there, kid?" he said to me, pointing at the giant stain. "That's bird guano." I wasn't sure what he was talking about. "Guano?" I said. "Yes, boy, guano. Do you know what guano is?" "No, sir," I told him. "Droppings, boy, bird droppings." Now I was really confused. What do birds drop? So I asked him, "What do birds drop?" "You aren't as smart as you look, kid," Mr. Latham said. "It's poo, bird poo, all of it. They sit up on that wire and poo all over my patio." He pointed up above the patio. There was a wire running from the alley that went above his yard and to his roof. And sure enough, there were some birds sitting on it. And yes, while we were looking up, one of them pooed right in the patio. Now I'm getting that wire removed next week, but right now I need all this poop off my patio. And I think you're the man to do the job. Great job, huh? This did not look like fun. Cleaning bird poo for a living. So I quickly made some excuses. "I'm sorry, Mr. Latham, but I'm more of a yard work kind of guy." "This is my yard," he replied. I needed to think quickly. "I know, Mr. Latham, but the problem is that I only have tools for a regular yard. I don't have the right kind of tools for this type of job. But I appreciate the offer." Perfect, I thought. This was the perfect excuse. At least I thought so until Mr. Latham said, "Don't worry, kid. I have all the tools you do need. A scrub brush, gloves, water, and a bucket. Come on, I'll take you to them and show you the hose." My excuse making was done. Oh well. I thought, like Uncle Jake told me, I would make some money doing jobs that other people didn't want to do, and no one would want to do this job. "Yes, sir," I said, as I followed him over to his tool shed. He handed me a big bucket, a small hand brush, and a pair of rubber gloves. Then he showed me where the hose was. I filled the bucket with water. "There you go, kid. Let me know if you need anything else." "Yes, sir," I said, and with that I got down on my knees and started scrubbing, and scrubbing, and scrubbing, and scrubbing. It took hours and hours, 5 hours to be precise, of me on my hands and knees scrubbing bird poop. By the time I was done, the patio looked perfect. I hosed the whole thing down, put the bucket, gloves, and scrub brush away, and knocked on Mr. Latham's door. He came outside, walked across the patio, and looked at it from a bunch of different angles. Finally, he announced, "This looks great." And he took out his wallet and handed me two $20 bills. $40. This made me feel great for about 2 minutes. Then I remembered that I still had work to do at other houses. So I went around to my other appointments, the Jacksons, the Kurths, and the Newsoms. I mowed and pulled weeds as quickly as I could, but I still worked until 6 o'clock. When I got home, I ate a quick dinner and then worked on my bike. When I was done with that, I went to bed, exhausted once again. The next day was a repeat, minus the bird poo. I was up early in the morning to work out, then immediately went to houses pulling weeds and mowing lawns. And it was hot, so it was even more tiring than normal. Once again, I got home, ate a quick dinner, went out to the garage to work on my bike. I couldn't wait to get out to bed, but then I suddenly remembered that there was no camp the next day. I decided I would take the next day off from anything. That's right, I needed a day of rest. When I got done working on my bike, I walked back to the house. Uncle Jake was sitting at the table, reading a book. I knew he wasn't going to like this, but I also knew that if I didn't say something, tomorrow would be just as much work as today. "Uncle Jake?" I asked. "What's up, Mark?" he replied as he looked up from his book. "I'm really tired." "That's great. It means you had a productive day filled with hard work. Good job." "No, Uncle Jake. I mean, I'm really tired. And tomorrow I don't have camp. And well, I was just wondering if it would be okay if I took the day off and did nothing." "Nothing? No workout? No work on your bike? No work? You sure about that?" "I am, Uncle Jake. I'm just really tired." I was waiting for Uncle Jake to tell me that this was a bad idea, or that I needed to push through it, or that I needed to take advantage of every day I have, or something like that. Instead, he just said, "Okay." And that was it. He went back to reading. Yippee! Day off! So I went upstairs and turned off my alarm clock. Uncle Jake came home just before dinner. Oops, I skipped a part. So I turned my alarm clock off, put on my pajamas, and went to bed. The next morning I woke up early, but since it was my day off, I just stayed in bed for a while. I saw Uncle Jake when I came down for breakfast. He was already done working out and said he had to go to the library to do some research. And my mom had already left for some kind of event she had to work. It was perfect. As soon as Uncle Jake left, I sat down on the couch and watched some TV. Then I got on the computer and watched some videos. Then I played some games on the computer. When I was done with that, I watched some more TV. Uncle Jake got home in the afternoon with some books he had borrowed from the library. Then he put on some workout clothes, grabbed his backpack, and said he was going to go and work out for a while. So I watched some more TV, played some more games on the computer, and then I watched some more videos. Sweet. Uncle Jake came home just before dinner. He was all dirty looking and sweaty. We sat down to eat. So, how was your day off? What did you do? Uncle Jake asked me. Not much really, just relaxed, I guess. Oh, sounds like TV and video games. Yeah, some. I told Uncle Jake, knowing that he knew what I really meant, that I had watched a ton of TV and played a ton of video games. What about you? What did you do? I did a bunch of research at the library. I'm learning more about the First World War. Then I wrote a dozen or so emails to friends of mine, guys all over the world. Then I worked on the design of a house I'm going to build one day. When I was done with that, I went rock climbing, which was awesome. It was a good day. Rock climbing, designing houses, researching World War I. I felt like I missed out on a lot of good stuff. Sheesh, Uncle Jake. I didn't know you were going to be doing all that good stuff. I wish you could have done some of it with you. Well, you could have, but it was your day off. And speaking of your day off, how do you feel? What do you mean? I mean the day off that you said you needed so bad. How was it? Did you enjoy it? Well, I wasn't sure what to say, but I wanted to stay positive, so I said yes. The problem was that I didn't even believe it myself, that it wasn't an enjoyable day. So I changed my answer. Kind of, I told him. But I knew that wasn't true either. The day wasn't even kind of enjoyable. So I changed my answer again. I mean, I guess. But now I just felt that he didn't believe me anyway, so I told him, maybe not. But there shouldn't have been even a maybe. The day was not good, and I knew it. So finally I told the truth. No, Uncle Jake, no, I didn't have a good day. Why not? I don't know. Because I didn't do much, I guess. I mean, I did some stuff, but, you know, it was just kind of lazy. You had a lazy day, Uncle Jake said. He knew it. Yes, Uncle Jake, it was lazy. I thought I needed it. I thought it would feel good. Of course you did. Lazy days always feel good when you start them, but the problem comes when you're done. When they're done, they never feel good. You never look back at the lazy day and say, I'm glad I didn't do anything today. I'm glad I didn't make any progress. I'm glad I didn't accomplish anything. No, why would you say that? It would never be true. But lazy days are tempting when you're facing the hard work because you have started, or before you have started. But when you are tired and you want that easy day, once it's done, a lazy day never feels good. Uncle Jake was right again. Even though it seemed like I needed it, and it seemed like it would feel good, the fact of the matter was, at the end of that day, it didn't feel good at all. I accomplished nothing today. And the worst part was that I didn't even feel refreshed. I actually felt just as tired, if not more tired, from sitting around all day than I would have felt if I'd gone after it. No, Uncle Jake, it doesn't. After a quiet minute or two, Uncle Jake looked at me and said, well, you know what you did accomplish today? No, Uncle Jake, what? You learned. You learned that laziness is never the right path, and that it is a good lesson because you can't get a lazy day back. They're gone forever. Don't ever forget that, Mark. I won't, Uncle Jake. I won't. Uncle Jake nodded. He knew I wouldn't. went upstairs and got ready for bed, excited for my opportunity to have a great day tomorrow. And that is the end of chapter 14. So, I think I'm going to bid you guys a fond afternoon farewell. You have a good dinner. I hope you had a good day studying. And I will see you tomorrow.